Good day. It's Janet from JRK Handcrafted. I just thought I'd bring this album to you before I posted it up on the site here. The album itself measures 9 3/4 this way by 7 1/4 here and has a 2 1/4 inch spine. I can't recall the Recollections paper this was from. I believe it was Recollections, but it's a beautiful, beautiful paper, highlighted with lots of silver accents and just shine, and it's just really pretty. It's a really heavy cardstock and the colors are just amazing. I did supplement that or add to that a few papers from a Flutter and Bloom collection from Kathy King, and these are beautiful. They matched with this paper that I got from Michael's perfectly. So without further ado, this is called the Perfect Wished album. It does not have it's not an occasional book, so there's nothing in here about birthday or wedding or babies or anything. It's a perfect album to give to a friend, to a relative, just because maybe they've been down to visit you on vacation. You've got some pictures to put in there. Maybe it's a friend that you've had for a long time, and you have a lot of photos that you just want to share. So it's really open to providing joy to whoever you'd like to give this to. And you could either give it with photos in it, which would be really awesome, or you could give it to the person and allow them to put the photos of their choice in here. So let's just start. The front has this nice big circular ephemera piece that I've backed on black cardstock, and I haven't put it up all the way so I can put these nice mats in here, and they will hold a 3x4 photo. So at the start of each of my tutorials, or for each of my albums, what I will say is these are suggestions only. And again, just because this photo was looking like it's in a landscape orientation, if your photo is suited more to portrait, no big deal. These come off. They're on with repositionable tape. So they just come off and you can turn your photo this way. So these are purely for suggestion. And if you were to place a 3x4 photo in here, you would have this black border around it. So there's, you're not covering up the whole thing. You're not having to cut it that close that it has to match perfectly. And again, you could, if you wanted to, if you were downsizing your 4x6, you could remove this, place it where you like on your photo, and then cut around it so that you could use it as basically a template. So the rest of the album itself is fairly simple. I've just put some border up there. I've used a border punch here. This beautiful paper, I actually wrapped it all the way around to keep it so that we could see it all, because it was so absolutely gorgeous. I have some really pretty kind of mint green shimmer paper here. And then again, we're looking at just the gorgeous vibrant colors that are in this for the back. So nothing fancy on the back, and it is fairly plain on the front as well. So I do have a closure on it. It does not require it. This album is not jam-packed. There's lots of room in here. So you've got all kinds of wiggle room to put your photos in. But I did like having the bit of a feminine touch here, and I tripled up the ribbon. So there's burgundy and cream and pink, which I thought went really, really well with this album. And I have not tied this tight, just so the recipient can do with it what they wanted, but I didn't want to put any creases in the ribbon. So there's 3 coming off the front, 3 coming off the back, and they just tie really nicely to keep the album closed. So let's have a look inside. It's a very simple album to navigate. There's no hidden things in here. It's pretty simple, and it's geared probably more for the 4x6 photo. You'll see a lot of 4x6 photos in here. In fact, there's room for 28 plus. But as you'll see as we go along, you can substitute those 4x6s with 3x4s as well. If you want to put 2 3x4s on here instead of the 4x6s, leave a little space in the center, you can do that. So again, these are repositionable. So if you remove these, you've just got the craft paper behind, and you can put your photos in however you like. You may have not a photo, maybe you have a ticket stub, maybe you have something else that you'd like to put in that place. Perfectly fine. So as we walk through the book, here we have a tag. It's got this little yellow sunburst in here at the top of it. I put the complete pattern paper all the way down instead of paper piecing it, and have just placed the my suggestions, the 3x3s. You could put a no, you couldn't put a 4x6. Oh, you know what? Let me check. Now that I say that, yes, you could. You could put a 4x6 in here, and you could center it and give yourself some room there. So these were just suggestions. And on the back, 3x4 and a 4x4 with just this little pattern paper in between. So that tag just slides in here. And this pocket is certainly plenty big enough for some extra documents, cards, whatever. Maybe a travel brochure if you went somewhere with your friend. Okay, and then like I said, here you've got a 4x6. And again, this is landscape, portrait. So I've tried to mix them up so that they're not all in the same orientation. Portrait, landscape. And these pages will continue on to be very similar in their format as we go through. Here we have a nice big hello with room for a 4x6 on the back. And then over here we've got a cute little booklet. And there are some spaces in some of these ephemera or some of these tags. There were spaces to fill in the blanks. So you'll see here, don't forget to, and then they kind of prompt you here for a verb. And then here, remove and replace. This will hold 2 4x4s, and then the back is pattern paper. And like I said, there's places here where they're expecting you to fill something in. So who, what, when, where, and why. So maybe something to do with this photo. Maybe something to do with this 5x7 over here. And again, you'll notice that I've left the pattern paper on here. So you know what? If you pull this off, there's no damage to the paper behind. You could put a real nice montage of papers, or photos, of photos in here, and it would look really, really nice. So you're not relegated to stick with what I have put here in the album. And then over here, again, you're prompted yes to what? Something to say yes to, and then maybe a brief description, and room on the back for a 4x6. Here in this pocket, we've got a booklet that opens up that has room for 3 3x4s, and then that closes back up. And then we start this again, and I've filled in the gussets here with pattern paper just to stop them from being so plain. And you have, again, a portrait, a landscape, a portrait, and a portrait. Okay, and again, you could, let me see if I've got, okay, you could, if you wanted to put 3x4s in here, all you would do is you would take that off, and I'll just kind of use some 3x4s that I have here, and you could fit these in here instead. So 2 3x4s would fit there. So just so that you know that you're not relegated to stick with what I have here. And then here, oh, so fab. And then room for a 4x6. And again, you'll see how generous these pockets are. So you can certainly put more than just this one photo mat in there. Here I took some of the pattern paper and I cut it out into these shapes here. And then on the back, there's a space for a 4x6 photo. And then this has this really cool little pink flower at the top here, punched in there. It's covered up in the back. The back of it is covered up by these shapes. But anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. We'll stick that back in that way. Maybe it looks a little busy that way, but I kind of like it. Again, here's room for 5x7. Boy, what you could do with this paper in the back if you just had a bunch of 2x2s 3x4 and some 3x3s. You could put whatever on here, but you do have the opportunity. This is big enough and is not cut down that you could put a 5x7 on there. Here we go again. Nice wide belly band with the stopper at the bottom. So today was totally, and then they prompted you by saying what adjective would you want, or adjective. Got my syllable in the wrong place. So today was totally awesome, totally crappy, totally wonderful. Anyway, you know, it gives you some prompts for some of your journaling, which I thought was really cool. And we repeat over here again. We've got the 4x6 landscape, portrait, landscape, portrait, landscape, portrait. Okay, and here's the other pocket that was holding the very large 4x6s. But what I did here was I just put in, oh, actually, I didn't count. I did not count the other 3x4s in the back of here. So I was thinking they were only 3x4s on one side. So I'm just going to mark that down again here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so actually there's at least room for 42. There we go. 42 3x4s. So they all stick in here, and I just put the ribbons on, and these basically just match what comes off the album here. Okay, so they just all slide in this pocket. And like I said in the one before, here, like, see how much room there is? And I've got 4 things in there, and there's still plenty of room. There's lots of room in these, like lots of room. So, and the album itself is not full. So you can decorate up yin yang with this. You can put as many photos as you like in here. You're not going to have alligator mouth, and even if it does get a little full, you've got your ribbons to keep it shut. And here, the perfect wish, and that's actually where I got the title for this album, because it seemed to make sense. And you would put in here what you thought your perfect wish was, and hopefully it's something that you've documented within this mini album. 4x6s and pattern paper on the back. Again, here's another big card. So, amazingness provided by who? Who was with you on this journey? Who made this day or this week or this vacation special? So I really like those, that they kind of prompt you to do that. And then room for a 4x6. And then this just slides into these diagonal pockets, corner diagonal pockets. And then that flips over, and then we have another large tag, which has this really cool wine-colored flower, I guess you would say. Room for 2 3x4s and a 3x4 here, but remember, this is just tacked down. There's complete pattern paper all the way across, so you could do your own semblance of photos on the back there. And then in the back here, there's just a great big pocket. And in the back, we've got this little pocket on the front here that holds a 3x4, but it also opens up to hold some 4x6s. And that's it. That's the album. I won't tie it back up. I'll leave that. I don't want to tie this in case the person who gets it wants to do something special with it. So anyway, that's the album. Again, it'll be called the Perfect Wish Album. 9 3/4 by 7 1/4 by 2 1/4. Holds at least 42 pictures at least, but we all looked at some of the opportunities that you can put additional photos in, and those were where those 5x7s mats were that I kind of put down there as an option. As well, there's a few places within the album where there's just pattern paper that you could probably put in some pictures, as well as the oversized pockets. So I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough on this album. I'm hoping to have it up on the site in the next couple of days. And thanks so much for watching. Take care.